Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is definitely one of my favorites. Definitely a crazy one, definitely a good one. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. Before I get into it, just want to say, my new song is out now. Go check it out if you haven't. I'll put a top link in the description. If you like any of my other songs, you'll probably like this one. And if you don't like any of my other songs, you probably won't. So, yeah. Also, I'm sorry in advance. I'm going to be annoying and probably promote this thing for the next, 4 videos in the beginning. So, sorry. But anyway, enough self-promo. Let's get on to one of my favorite story times of all time on this channel. If you enjoy it, leave a like in the video, and let's get into it. So, today's story time all takes place back in freshman year of high school. Now, freshman year was a very interesting time for me for a lot of reasons. One, I was in high school for my first year, so that was interesting, a learning experience. And also, a lot of very interesting things happened this year. A lot of story time worthy moments. And this one's definitely top 5. So this all starts off like a normal day in freshman year. I get up out of bed, take a shower, get ready for the day. I was actually up relatively early on this day. For once, my sleep schedule wasn't completely fried, and I was actually getting up at a normal hour and not going to bed at 3 in the morning and waking up at 5. So yeah, I had some time to get ready, and I was on time. And yeah, the bus pulled up to my house. I got on it. I went to school, and upon arriving to school, I usually would go straight to my locker and put my backpack in there, and then I'd go up to the cafeteria and try and eat breakfast or hang out with some of my friends who were eating breakfast. But on this day, I just said, screw it, I'm gonna go right to the cafeteria, and I'll put my bag in my locker after the cafeteria, after breakfast, right? So I went up to the cafeteria. I wasn't even hungry because I already ate breakfast at home. But like I said, I had friends in there that were eating, so I went to the table with them, sat down, I was talking to them for about 20, 30 minutes until the first bell rang and we had to go to our lockers. And after the first bell rings, I go down to my locker, I put in the combination, and I open my locker to a very odd smell, and a very familiar smell at that. I opened the locker, and my first thought was, why the hell does my locker reek like weed? Now, at first I thought maybe my neighbor's locker, maybe he had some weed in there or something, or an old joint or something, and it was kind of smelling it up, because sometimes smells from other people's lockers would make their way into mine if they were close enough. But then I noticed something. There is a plastic bag on the top shelf of my locker. And I take a peek inside of it, and in this plastic bag is another plastic bag that is, a little Ziploc bag, and it's got some bud in the bag. And immediately I take a step back from my locker and I look around because I'm thinking someone's fucking with me, right? I'm like, yo, who put this in here? Because I know it wasn't me. I would remember if I put weed in my locker that morning, and I hadn't even been to my locker yet that day, so someone else had to have put that there. So I'm looking around, and I don't see any of my friends, I don't see anybody nearby that could have done this. So I take the baggie, and I stuffed it in my backpack as far down as I could, and then I put my hoodie on top of it to try and kind of dampen the scent. It didn't really work, but I thought this is better than having it right on the top shelf out in the open when I opened my locker. So yeah, I did that, and then I shut the locker, and I went to my first period class because I didn't have time to stand there and keep, thinking about this, right? I had to go to class. So in my first period class, the first thing I do is I pull open my phone, right before class starts, and I text 4 of my really good friends at the time, and 4 friends of mine that I knew smoked. And I was like, yo, did any of you put something in my locker this morning? And they all reply, and they were like, no, what is it? And I was like, bro, there's weed in my locker. Someone put it in there. And all 4 of them reply, and they're like, nope, it wasn't us. And I'm just sitting there what the fuck? And then one of those same friends in that group chat replies and goes, yo, if you don't want it, I'll buy it off you real quick. And I think about it for a second, and at first I'm like, yo, that's a terrible idea. I'm not about to sell weed in the middle of school. Bad idea, right? But then I think about it a little bit more, and I was like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with this. I want it out of my hands. It'll be his responsibility. I'm going to do it. So I tell him, all right, man, it's probably almost an eighth, so give me 30 or 40 bucks. It's yours. And he's like, bet. So next thing I know, I ask my teacher, can I go to the bathroom? And she says it's okay. And next thing I know, I go to my locker, grab my backpack out, and I'm on my way to the bathroom to sell this dude some weed in the middle of school. Now, I think it goes without saying, but before I continue, don't do this ever. Terrible idea. But yeah, I wasn't thinking. So I go to the bathroom, I walk in, my friend's already in there. We coordinated which bathroom we were going to. He daps me up, takes out the money, hands me the money. I unzip my bag, I move my hoodie, I then take out the Ziploc baggie, and I hand it to him, and I was like, there you go, man. He's like, holy shit, man, this is some good shit. And he's holding it up to the light, in the bathroom, staring at it. And I was like, bro, you should probably put that away, inspect it later or something. So if someone walks in, we'll probably get in trouble. He's like, yeah, good idea. And he starts to put it in his bag. And as he's doing that, a teacher walks in, specifically my history teacher at the time. He walks in and he goes, what's that smell? And me and my friend both kind of look at each other. And the history teacher goes, "Do you guys have weed in here? Are you smoking?" And we're both like, no, we weren't smoking. And he goes, "It smells like marijuana in here. Which one of you has weed? I know one of you has it." And it didn't even take my friend like 5 seconds to just completely fold and rat me out. He just goes, I'm sorry, I bought some weed." And I look over at him and like my eyes just said it all, man. Like my eyes were saying a million words. Actually, they were saying 4. What the fuck, man? But at the same time, man, deep down, all I could think about was, yo, this is my fault. I'm an idiot. Why did I even do this? I could have just stayed my ass in class, just went through the day, probably been fine, and then, figured out who gave it to me after school and give it back to them or something. But yeah, my homie told the teacher that he just bought some weed. And the teacher knew who sold it to him because I was the only one in there, and I looked guilty. So next thing I know, me and my friend are being escorted up to the principal's office. We get up there, my history teacher sits us down in there, my principal comes in, my history teacher tells the principal about what he just found us doing, and then my history teacher leaves, and we're left with the principal looking very disappointed in us and very upset. And the first thing the principal said was, "Who has the weed?" And my friend raised his hand, took it out, gave it to the principal, and then after that, my principal looked at me and goes, "Austin, I expect better from you. Why would you do this? Like, seriously." And I had 2 choices. I could either be like completely honest and just be like, "Dude, I came into school today. There was a random bag of weed in my locker. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want the responsibility of it. So I was just selling it off to him to try and not worry about it." I could have told him that. Or I could have just been like, "I don't know. I'm just an idiot." And I chose option 2. I was like, "I'm not sure why I did it. I'm just stupid." And I didn't tell him the full truth. And honestly, I fucking should have. I should have told the full truth because they probably could have looked at the cameras and saw the person that put it in there and he would have gotten in trouble instead of me. Or maybe I would have gotten in less trouble because I still sold it. So, I still would have gotten in some trouble, but I probably would have gotten in less trouble is what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, I didn't say shit. And the principal just basically put all the blame on me and I got in a shit ton of trouble. They called my mom in. They called my friend's mom in as well. I got 5 days of out-of-school suspension. I also got a week of lunch detention with my principal. And they also made me stay after school for like 3 days to catch up on math work. So that sucked. My friend also got the same exact punishment. Like we were literally in detention every day together and staying after together and stuff. I mean, honestly, looking back, that's actually not that bad of a punishment compared to what they could have done. They could have expelled me. They could have like kicked me out for a month. So like in the grand scheme of things, they probably went pretty easy on me. We also got grounded at home, obviously. But as for school punishment, it wasn't that bad. But the story time doesn't end there. So after my mom came in and his mom came in, the principal kind of laid out the punishment. We got dismissed for the day. They sent us home early and, suspended us. So when I'm on the way home in my mom's car and my mom's, lecturing me about how much of an idiot I am, basically, right? I get a message on Facebook. Like my phone goes off and I look at it and my mom's like, "Don't look at your phone. I'm talking to you." And while she's saying that, I'm reading the message on my homepage, right? Like I'm reading it and it's a Facebook message from my friend at the time at my school, Aiden, who does not smoke weed. He was a total straight edge person, right? Like never did anything. And the message says, "Yo, man, did you get my gift?" So right then and there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the motherfucker that put it in my locker. So while my mom's lecturing me and telling me to put my phone away, I quickly message him back. And I was like, "Dude, I got suspended." And right after I send that, my mom's like, "What'd I say? Put your phone down." So I do. I put it in my pocket. And it was a very quiet, awkward drive after that. And then I get back to my house and I quickly go in the bathroom. Because I knew my mom was about to take my phone away, so I wanted to go in there quick and message Aiden before my phone, went bye-bye. So I went in my bathroom and Aiden replied, and he's like, "What do you mean you got suspended?" And I was like, "Dude, why'd you put that in my locker?" He's like, "Bro, I came into school that morning and this dude gave it to me and I didn't smoke and, I never have. So I thought you would appreciate it. So I went in your locker because I have your combination and I just put it up there on your shelf." And I was like, "Bro, I tried selling it off to somebody because I didn't want it, and I kind of screwed myself." And immediately Aiden started apologizing and feeling sorry because if he didn't put that in my locker, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. But also, it was my fault too, man. It was just not a good idea to try and sell that to somebody. And looking back, it's so funny because at this time, your boy was definitely a stoner. I could have just taken it home, but the thought of having it in my locker and getting in trouble, I was just like, "Oh, I don't want it. I'm going to get rid of it." And in doing so, I got in a shit ton of trouble. But yeah, man, I just kind of lived out the rest of my grounding and suspension after that. And I'd say after a good month, I was kind of off the hook. I wasn't really grounded at home anymore. And by this time I was back to school because my suspension wasn't very long at all. It was only 5 days. But yeah, man, it was definitely a shitty situation. And we learned some valuable lessons in this story. Number one, selling weed in school is a stupid idea. I also would not advise bringing it to school. But yeah, man, that is the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
Little bitch, you gotta know your place. Bad bitches, pull up on me. I got 2 switches, 20 gauge rounds. Hit you up like it's nutrition. I've risen, everything came to fruition. Stop the jealous talking on your girls, mine I might hit it. I heard my name is in your mouth, yeah, I really doubt you want me talking back, cause I could really air it out. Remember when I call you